What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the red color, playing as Oranos. His name is Gaboo. His opponent today in the blue color, also playing as Oranos. His name is Punkstar. I don't know how to say it, ladies and gentlemen, but it has been 3 games now, and we still haven't seen Gaboo's main god. Now, I don't actually know what god Punkstar mains here. I think it's Poseidon. Maybe it's Hades. I don't know, but we've seen Punkstar sticking mostly to the Greeks here for the first time in this series, pulling out his Oranos. Now, if we're honest, it really doesn't take a whole lot of skill to, or I shouldn't say skill, that's not the right word. I should say for a top player, it doesn't take a whole lot of effort to get Oranos as a pocket pick. And to remind everyone what a pocket pick generally means, it's a pick you use to cover a weakness for your main god. So my assumption here is that Punkstar on this map feels like he's not going to be able to he's not going to be able to deal with what Gaboo does with Greek here. He doesn't want to play Greek versus Loki on this map for whatever reason, expecting Loki to come at all points has to be what's going through Punkstar's mind. So he picks Oranos here. Oranos against Loki on this map, arguably a little bit more solid than the Greek, than the Zeus, than the Hades, than the Poseidon against Loki. I don't know, maybe, arguably, who knows? But on Alfheim, obviously, Oranos is a strong pick. Gaboo, on the other hand, I think Gaboo is playing around the fact that Punkstar is a Greek main. And he's like, all right, Oranos against Greek on this map, very, very possible to win with that. So after all is said and done here, we get this matchup where it's like both players didn't want to play their main, and both players get a mirror matchup that they weren't prepared for, which ends up being that the pocket pick that they may have prepared in Oranos is now, this is a complete foreign territory for him. So they're both going to be kind of working it out as they go. Obviously, both players have played a fair amount of Age of Mythology, so they're going to be relatively aware of how the matchup is supposed to go. But just because you're aware about the overall strategies doesn't mean you know how to control the army, doesn't mean you know how to engage fights correctly, doesn't mean you know exactly how to macro properly. Although Atlantean is a little bit easier than the other civilizations, but all of that does ring true. We'll see how the game's going to go. Gaboo did drop himself an economic guild. Same too for Punkstar. Both players here with not that much hunt. We do see Gaboo over onto the deer with only 1 citizen, whereas Punkstar moves over onto the deer with 2 citizen. As the game continues along, Temple coming up onto this position. Generally speaking, when you're in these positions, Punkstar's doing it correctly. You want to basically grab 0 wood more than that. You want to have that wood at 0 and that gold at 0. That allows you to get to 400 food much more efficiently, as we do see that both players going up through Prometheus here. Gaboo, for some reason, I'm not 100% sure, probably because he didn't send all his 2 villagers to walk to the deer, he's actually managed to get that food a little bit more efficiently than Punkstar did. But nonetheless, he's making it work. Both players are going to be on their way. A couple of seconds difference doesn't make a whole lot of difference here in this game. The differences generally end up being around the citizen or villager count. So if I went for a 330, I would have this many villagers. If I had, or X villagers. If I went for a 345, I would have X plus 1 villager. So that's where that kind of logic comes into it starting to matter. But when you're playing as Oranos, it's 430 or 505, right? So it's a big difference to go for 1 more citizen. Anyways, we'll see how it's all going to go. Relics on the map. We do have the Ship of Fingernails here. Extra 24 free food a minute. A nice little trickle of food. Shingles of Steel here with the extra 50% boost to the mana hit points, and the hardest Folly with some line of sight for your oracles. This one's actually really, really nice, in all honesty, for those oracles. If you spot this in the early game as Atlantean, you can actually heroize a oracle, bring that relic back home, Juck it into the temple nice and early and scout the map really efficiently. Though, it's a bit of a screw around with the old build order, I guess. You have to get that temple up much earlier than you otherwise would have wanted to, but it's definitely a way to do it. Like, I don't see why not. You just have to order getting the gold and the wood earlier and then put the villagers over onto the food instead of having them on gold. It's a bit more, maybe a bit more walking distance, walking time. Totally possible. There's a citizen retreating back here. Promethean here for Gaboo, just trying to figure out what to do. But the big Promethean of Punkstar says, "Get out of here, little kid." Whack! And Axe coming through as well for Punkstar in the early game. A little bit surprised to see that. I'm not sure there's quite enough food to make that work. But, I mean, Punkstar might just be wanting to go for more like straight 9 citizen here. I mean, he could... No, he's got 3 villagers on food. 5 villagers on food. So he's not... Okay, so it's just a mistake. This is something that we do see Oranos players doing, where they go to 9 citizen and they just go for an all-in. I don't think it works in the Oranos mirror, though. And obviously, Punkstar here will eventually get the food to build that citizen, but he is quite... Oh, well, he's not that far behind Gaboo, but he is behind Gaboo in villager training time. So one way to play around that is you just stop the Momillo for a little bit and you start it again. And that way you can... Or you don't get the hand axe, but it looks like both players here are getting their economic upgrades. And Gaboo has a slight advantage here after all is said and done. As Gaboo searches around for stuff to kill, but on this map, there's really not that much here. And part of me feels like on a map like this, where there's no hunt, the wood line, the wood line's a little bit of a liability, but if you get watchtowers, this wood line here is decent. Chopping this down with watchtowers here, you could arguably have just gone for a fast second town center. Why not? Valor on the oracles, get the town center up, no problems. And play a very defensive game. But Gaboo here, pushing in with his units, not able to get all too much. Generally speaking, playing defensive is the right play here. Population differential is significantly in favor of Gaboo at this point, as he's up a citizen, or up half a citizen, I should say. And I imagine Gaboo here, he's going to be looking for that second town center fairly soon. On a map like this, going for like fast heroic strategies or heroic timings or mythic timings, with the amount of hunt that's on the map, and then we do see there is a decent amount of hunt up here and over here. But with the amount of hunt on this map, you probably need to be more thinking about town centers. The timings are going to hit much later because you're going only on cows, and you might even have to farm. So, yeah, go for something else seems to be the better call after all is said and done. Some more Prometheans coming out here. Valor getting dropped down. Big shockwave coming through for Punkstar onto Gaboo's Terma as Gaboo has to retreat back. We still haven't seen that town center coming up for either player. Look at this. Gaboo over on this gold mine here nicely in the center of the map here with this citizen as the army retreating through here. Gaboo going to attempt to push Punkstar into a different position on the map and have him not be aware that there's hunt being grabbed here. As Punkstar has taken over in terms of population, so we'll see if he's going to be able to force a fight and find a significant victory here. And the big thing is that Gaboo hasn't spent any favor just yet. Generally speaking, you want to wait until all the Valors are gone and then build your Promethean in this matchup is, generally speaking, the way to go about it. As Punkstar Citizen getting caught out here, making a retreat back to the manor. He could use the shockwave here. Doesn't use it. He does have it, but he could have used it to pick off a citizen there. I think it's always worth it to utilize in this matchup to utilize your shockwaves for citizens rather than for army, because you obviously get more kills. As we do see the units pushing into the main base here. How many Promethean? 3 Promethean. You could arguably take that town center down. As the watchtowers does come through for Gaboo though, as both players inside of each other's base. We see watchtowers coming through for Punkstar as well, as a little bit late on that one is Gaboo just doesn't want to leave the main base. Lots of idle villagers for the time being here, it seems. for Punkstar, as Punkstar's happily eating those cows underneath town center fight. Looks like he doesn't lose all too much. 14 villagers apiece here. Gaboo ready to get himself a second town center after all is said and done, as the manor on this position with 2 citizen in it is going to be getting taken out. We see another military barracks coming through here. And will Punkstar be able to keep his citizen alive as they do pop out? Gaboo's got full focus on this one as he shockwaves both citizen. Will he be able to prevent them from getting back into the manor as this one gets very close but gets bumped in, doesn't quite make it through, neither does the other one. Nice play from Gaboo there to prevent that from happening. Gets 2 villager kills, has a significant advantage now in terms of economy as the army of Punkstar comes in, and Gaboo smartly here going to just be retreating away as another Valor coming down after all is said and done. Town center over here starting to come up for Gaboo as well after that. Those nice kills, and Punkstar, he's not going to be close to being able to get a second town center here as the units coming through here. Can Punkstar get a little bit of damage here to snare this army? You definitely want to try and get the melee units to target down the army while your Terma are attacking. That snares the units so that the Terma can actually attack. As the temple does get taken down, villagers getting pulled back. Relic gets popped out here as well as Punkstar coming back with his units. And Gaboo, he's ready to go to that heroic cage. He'll have 2 town centers go to the heroic cage. He's got 58 favor in the bank plus that town center going up. Can he get it up in time though? It looks like he's maybe not going to be able to. As the units turn around and start taking this fight here, the Promethean here going to get a good amount of damage done onto those units as Gaboo's still running around here. Not really able to find all too much. Can Gaboo get his units to safety? His civilian units to safety. He does manage to do so. Punkstar not able to get that surround on those hero citizens. They come back into the main base. As now, Gaboo in here with his army. Plenty of resources in the bank. And still no armories up. He does have an armory up, but still no advance time coming through here for Gaboo after all is said and done. Definitely going heroic age would be a really big help. I think he thinks he's going mythic age, waiting for 1,000 resources. Now Thea clicked up for Gaboo. And he's going to be in a good position, but what's happened here is Punkstar's taking this fight, and it looks like Gaboo's come out on top. With 111 population, as now the citizen can move back up to this town center and complete that one. After all is said and done, more units coming back here for Gaboo as they were off on a mission. Punkstar going to be moving back into his main base here. Second gold mines are also going to be a problem for both players moving forward. As Punkstar looks like he's not even going to the gold mine at this moment. He's got himself 400 gold in the bank. And he's got 100 population there as well as Plow coming through. Definitely, is that a town center? He's going for that town center over here. We'll see if he's going to be able to make this work, but he is significantly behind Gaboo in this game. As Gaboo's second town center is almost up. And I imagine Gaboo here has to be expecting a town center to be coming up. He has to be. It's either a town center or it's a heroic age. And Gaboo's going to be checking that one out as he sees the army coming through. Not wanting to fight it just yet as he's just hit that third age. Heavy infantry coming through and Stymphalian birds on cue. Coming out here. So much population, not population, but favor advantage for Gaboo because he just hasn't really built that many Promethean, I don't think, as opposed to Punkstar. So 2 or 3 Stymphalian birds are going to be able to come out for Gaboo. As the Hesperus tree comes down as well, Gaboo's going to be able to spam those out as the heavy Murmillo pushing through. No upgrades in terms of mail here for either player. As units retreating back up to this position over here, and we'll see how things end up going ahead here. As Punkstar pulls back. He's not able to take this fight. Realistically, the bonus here of it is 15%. Of a 15% upgrade in heavy infantry does end up being a huge deal when you have, what, 13 Murmillo? But there are more Murmillo here for Punkstar, so he actually might be able to win this fight if he gets like copper mail out or something like that to kind of help him along. As it looks to me like the town center for Punkstar will end up getting up here, so he will be able to live another day in terms of population and everything else that goes on. As an armory over here looking to try and come up for Punkstar as well, still trying to hold on here as the Stymphalian birds, the Dryads, moving in onto this position. The advantage for Gaboo is looking like it's going to be overwhelming. If you take a quick look at the map, gold mines, there's really no options other than those bottom gold mines here for Punkstar in this game. But Gaboo, he hasn't really noticed it, going after the watchtower here, allowing Punkstar to get a pretty decent engagement on this fight. Shockwave getting utilized there as well. Stymphalian birds getting a huge amount of damage done from the skies. There's no attempt here. Well, there's the first attempt from Punkstar to try and deal with the Dryads and everything else, as Punkstar's population is dropping very, very fast here. 93 population to Gaboo's 130, as more units are streaming across the map. More red units, I should say, streaming across the map here to join the fight. Punkstar desperately trying to hold on here, but in that moment, he realizes he's about to be gold starved, and he does decide to tap out here, as Gaboo got too many good trades through this game. Punkstar wasn't able to stay with it. Both players here, I think when you're playing this matchup, when you're playing the Oranos matchup, I think that you got to ask yourself the questions: can I do a timing attack? What can I attack? And do I have safe golds? Answer in this game was, I don't really have a safe gold mine, but there's no timing attacks that are possible because the food is so low and you just can't attack anywhere. There's no hunt on the map. There's nowhere to attack the gold mines. So I think that had Gaboo rushed up a second town center here, and I do think it's possible, go for a 430 advance, 2 villagers on the town center, put your oracles here to defend it, get that town center up, valor the oracles, get the town center up, and just get yourself watchtowers, play defensively. If your opponent stays one town center, you will most likely win those situations. If they then grab a second town center, you're in front. And you just don't want to fight. You just want to play defensive here. You can send off little raiding forces, like 3 or 4 units, and send raiding forces around, but that seems to me to be the best way to play this matchup. Thank you for the prime as well, Nicken. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in the next game.